Hello everybody, this is Bev, Clarkovision. Long time no see, I guess. This video has been on my mind for a while actually. It's actually kind of it was an idea and a kind of a request thing that was put to me by somebody well known in the VC, and I thought it was a really good idea, so I thought I would give it a go. So from the title you possibly got an idea, but this is, I'm going to be showing 10 bands, 10 new or newer bands in my collection that I had discovered since getting back into music, and that are probably, are going to be in my collection to stay. Just new bands that I've found, discovered, and I kind of like. I was having a careful thought about all this, and I thought, is there bands? I'm quite careful with what I bring into my collection. I don't just pick something up because it's supposed to be really good or everybody else loves it kind of thing. I am very much, and I've said this before, music is a very personal thing, and so when it comes to music, if it's something I don't like, it probably won't enter my collection. If it's something I do like, then I'll get it. I tend to not be influenced by what the media think, what other people think, what your friends and family think, in terms of my own personal collection nowadays. And I mean, going back to when you're a kid, your family do have an influence on your musical beginnings. That's I would say that's pretty much a thing for every young kid. They usually discover music via their mum or their dad. That's where it begins. And then you grow and develop and discover, and you go from there. But nowadays, I've got to like it myself within me. So pretty much everything in here, I would say it's all going to stay in my collection. I would think, unless I change my mind in the future. But for most of the bands I'm going to be showing here, well, who knows? At the moment I really like all the music that I'm going to show here, and I don't see them leaving the collection anytime soon. But I wanted to just showcase them. Somebody had asked as well, and so here they are. And I've whittled it down to 10. There is way more than 10 newer bands out there, and by way of newer, I'm thinking, well, what to me is classed as a newer band, and I kind of use it as the turn of the century, when, anything 21st century, a band that was formed in the 21st century, is kind of a new band for me, whereas if it's the 20th century, pre-2000 kind of thing, I would regard them as an old band, or older band. So everything I'm showing here is 21st century, post 2000, which I regard as a newer band. And although some of those bands, there's a couple that were formed very early on in the century, 2002 I think is the earliest I've got listed here, if I'm right. Or is it 2000? Yeah, 2002, and then 2003. So they've obviously been around for almost 20 years, which is quite a long time for a lot of bands. But again, I didn't discover these bands then. I've only discovered, in fact, I've pretty much discovered every band I'm going to show you in the last few years, in the last 5 or so years perhaps, 5 or 6 years maybe, for the most part. So enough talking, I'll just get into them. And I kind of tried to pick ones that you'll maybe have heard of one or two, but you might not be aware of all of them, or you might have forgotten, because I will have showed them all in updates and stuff in the past, but whether any of them registered me or not, I don't know. But anyway, here we go. So, and they're in no particular order, they're just 10 bands that I really like. So I'm going to start with this band. Now, this band is from Italy, and it's Temperance, are the name of the band, and I've got 2 of their albums here. Now, this was the first album I picked up from these guys, Viridian, which was a 2020 release, and then they came out with another one in 2021. So this is their latest release, Diamante. And I believe, actually, this band does have, they've got a new album coming out imminently. I think it's either this month or November. I'm not 100% sure on the release date, but I know it's fairly soon. So it's highly likely I will pick that up. I'll certainly be checking it out. But these guys are from Italy. They were formed in, I believe, 2013, according to what I found out on the internet. 2013 from Italy, and they kind of describe themselves as melodic, heavy power metal, and they are very melodic. There's a lot of melodies, harmonies, loads of that stuff. They are quite heavy. They just heavy kind of, yeah, there's a heavy power mix in there, symphonic elements as well, but they're not as symphonic as some of the symphonic bands out there, such as, you know, I don't know, Nightwish or somebody like that. There is symphonic elements, but they don't, they're not full-on symphonic, I would say. So they're more just really melodic, heavy metal, power metal kind of stuff. They have a female singer, as you know, they have more than one singer. There's a male and female mix going on in here, and lots of interesting pieces of music. And it's just something that really appeals to me. It's kind of, obviously it's a newer style of metal, if you like. And you know, there's all these kind of subgenres and God knows of what. And half, to be honest with you, you know, I'm past my mid-40s, and half of that goes over my head as to what it specifically is. So, and to be honest, I don't really care. If I like it, then I like it. If I don't, I don't. But, so if it crosses over into styles, then so be it. And if I've said the wrong thing, then fine. But to be honest, I don't really care. Just go and check the bands out and see what you think yourself. But, really, really good band, and I can definitely see me checking out the new one that's coming up. So that's the first one. Another one that I discovered, and these guys are from Greece, and this is the Excellent Warrior Path. To date, they've only released the 2 albums, which is what I hold here. This was their debut, self-titled, just Warrior Path. They are released, well, this was released on Symmetric Records, I think. And this one was supposed to be Symmetric as well, but there was a bit of an issue with the record company and the pressing or something. So No Remorse Records ended up stepping in and pressing these albums, and there was a delay and all this nonsense. Eventually got it. So this is the Mad King, the most recent from 2021. Both of these are excellent, a really good new heavy metal band out of Greece. They came out, they sort of formed in 2019, so they are quite a new band. And I would describe them as kind of that epic, heavy power metal, more on the epic kind of side of things, and just the new traditional metal kind of sound. with some power elements mixed in. Very, very good sounding music, good band, and definitely worth checking out. Lots of people I know out there are really impressed with the Mad King, so that is Warrior Path. And the third one, this band, I've been singing their praises a few times in videos, probably thanks to Andy, Metal Mogul, or Cloudy Milder. It was really him that kind of put me on to Fury when he showed one of their albums, probably a good few years back now. And a band I checked out, they are from the UK, and I actually own every single thing they've released. They released a couple of EPs, and then they've got about 5 albums or so, I think. This one being their latest, Born to Sin. Really love this band. They're just traditional heavy metal, and they are obviously they're modern, so they've got that modern sound to them, but they're kind of they have a kind of a, as they've progressed, the last 2 albums, they've got a really kind of a fun sound to their music as well, I think. Definitely they don't have this kind of seriousness or any of that kind of feeling. Definitely some of the lyrics are very kind of tongue-in-cheek, I think, and it's just a good all-round vibe you get from listening to them. And their last 2 albums I really loved. This was the previous one to the last 2, Lost in Space. They just reissued it on vinyl for the first time, so the last 3 albums are now all on vinyl, so I've got all 3 as well. Got all their CDs, and I have this one on cassette as well. So I absolutely adore this band, highly recommend you checking them out. And as far as I know, they've been around a good few years. They did form in 2010 and in England. So they have been around for a decade. They have had a couple of personnel changes, but honestly, Julian Jenkins, who's the singer, he's just got a voice all of his own. I think there's not many people sound like him, and he does sound very kind of cheerful sounding, which is maybe a slightly unusual projection, I think, maybe of vocals from a metal band. But honestly, they're so good, and they should be signed to a company and, you know, being supported fully. They've been touring Europe like mad the last year. They've had some really good gigs and festivals happening for them this year, so the popularity is growing across in mainland Europe as well. Do check them out. Just modern, traditional heavy metal, good time, enjoyable stuff. Highly recommend this band. So yeah, that's Fury. Also from the UK, another band that I'm really taken with, and they are Dark Forest. And so yeah, this here, what the heck was it called? Ridge and Furrow. They don't have the title on the front, but it is on the back here, if you can see that. So this was their new EP that just came out last year. Was it 2022? Yeah. They are working on a new album, and I'm so excited for that. This was one of my best releases of last year. I think it turned out that there was 2 EPs released, and the 2 EPs came at the top of my list over everything else. Fantastic stuff. Dark Forest. They are another band from England. They've been around since 2002. This is the oldest band on my list. So they have been around a little while as well, and they are on Cruz del Sur is the label that supports these guys. And I had just recently acquired one of their earlier releases to now complete all their releases, so I have everything that these guys have released on vinyl now. I'm absolutely delighted to say. I'll show you that in an update video. So yeah, and I think these guys, you could describe them as they're a bit of, what have I got there? They're a bit of they're traditional heavy metal, modern traditional heavy metal with a bit of power in there and a bit of epicness in there and very subtle hints of folkiness in there, just peppered with bits of folky elements, I think, and they really have a nice style to their music. Extremely talented guys. Again, highly recommended if you're looking for new bands. You know, you want to check out. You know, if you want to, look for some new metal and you think, I want to check out some of the new bands or whatever. As I know, some people like to stick to the old school bands and the established bands of last century, basically. What we all grew up on, which is absolutely fine. But if you do want to check out some of the new bands, I do recommend checking out what I'm going to show you here, just to get a bit of a flavour of some of the good ones. As I say, there's hundreds out there, not just the 10 here, but absolutely fantastic. I love this band, and I can't wait for the new album, which I think could be early next year. So do check out Britain's Dark Forest as well. Going on to another band. This band's out of the US. And I discovered them, again, not too long ago, maybe about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, possibly 3 years ago, maybe even. So this band is called Adamantis. And I'm just trying to think there. Yeah, no, something just came to mind there. But this is another really interesting band which I like. Out of the US, they formed in 2016 apparently, so they are fairly new. This was their debut full length that was released by, is it again, Cruz del Sur, same label as Dark Forest. So this was the first full length, which was initially released self-titled. They self-released it, self-released it, and then I think they were snapped up by Cruz del Sur. It comes with an extra 7-inch single there. I love this artwork, very cool stuff, and this is their latest EP from last year again. Another fantastic EP this was. Yeah, a really good, another excellent 2022 release, The Demon Strain. So, can't remember which bit of the US they're from, but again, these guys are a bit of they're described as power metal, but I also think they have a bit of that epic kind of flavour to their stuff. Very good lyrical content and musical content. Again, there seems to be a lot of highly skilled musicians out there, to be honest with you. I think possibly there's been a flood of good bands coming out from lots of different genres in music and in metal. It's hard to keep up with everybody, but yeah, so I was glad to discover these guys. So out in the US, Adamantis, kind of epic power metal. Definitely check them out. Next one I'm going to show. Now are these guys? No, they're also from the US. Visigoth. These guys, discovered them not too long ago either, and I believe they only have 2 releases to date at the moment. I think they might have an EP, but I can't really remember off the top of my head. I did sort of briefly look at everybody on Discogs. a couple of weeks back, but anyway, this is the 2 albums I know of that this band has released. This was their debut, The Remnant King, and it's on Metal Blade Records, this one, and their second release from 2017. God, is it as long ago as 2017? I thought it was later than that, man. Also on Metal Blade Records, The Conqueror's Oath. Yeah, just again, it's they're kind of US power metal, kind of US heavy, traditional heavy / power metal coming out of the US. So they've got that American flavour, you know, the vibe of the US power metals. They've got a bit of that in there. Really good stuff, very enjoyable. And recommended band. I'm going to put them on this side, getting my wee bundles here. So that's, where are we now? That's 6 I've shown. We'll see how long this video runs. You know me. Hopefully around the half-hour mark. So the next one up is the 3rd band on the list from America. Another US band, some really good bands coming out in many countries, and America is one of them. Blazing Right, this band here, another newish band. What have I got down here? I believe, I couldn't find a definite date, but it seemed to indicate that they formed around 2019, but that was certainly when I think their EP was released. They released an EP and then they followed it up with this, their debut album, and this is their latest album, an absolute cracker. This came out just this year. Yeah, is it this year? I'm sure it's 2023. This was earlier this year. Wild Rites and Ancient Songs, and you know, and this one, Endless Halls of Golden Totem. You can sort of tell just by the titles of the albums, there's a bit of an epicness about this band, and there is. That kind of oldie-fashioned kind of warrior, kind of, you know, armour and swords and shields and all that kind of stuff, that sort of vibe. So Blazing Right are apparently from Philadelphia, and again they are described as traditional heavy metal with again that kind of epic flavour about their style, basically. But yeah, really, again, another seriously good sounding band, new band. And as I say, 2019, that's fairly new if that's when they established. But these guys are on Gates of Hell Records. Highly recommended checking them out again. Just metal that I'm just really enjoying listening to, new stuff. Which, you know, a lot of it in what I've showed so far is very much of the modern flavours and styles, but I guess it all harks back to the stuff of the 80s and maybe the 70s and stuff like that. I do think the 80s was the decade that set the benchmark in the history of a lot of styles of metal, you know, and I'm going for the likes, the hard rock, the soft, the melodic rocks, right through to kind of like thrash metal and probably that. I'm not going to go into death metal because I don't know really if that was more of a 90s thing. I know it was kind of maybe beginning to come out, but yeah, just all kind of levels of the rock and metal scene. It all comes from there, and the influences, and obviously you've got your 70s influences as well, I think, the likes of Black Sabbath and stuff, but I think all these bands today definitely were influenced from back then. So after Blazing Right, that's the third of my three Americans, we're going over to Australia. I wanted to include this band as well. Now, I only have their stuff on CD because I don't think anything's released on vinyl from them yet, anyway. So, Wicked Smile, I mean, honestly, it was Brendan across BVD, across Down Under. He put me onto this band, and I'm so glad he did. They are definitely heavy rock, hard rock, and most definitely take their inspiration and influence from the 80s, the hard rock bands from the 80s. They definitely show that, and I think they kind of try to recreate a bit of that. I think that's deliberate. They wanted to bring that vibe into their music, and why not? Because it's kind of the best era of music for rock and metal, you know. Anything with a guitar and that, just magic, more or less. So out of Australia, and I think from what I could say, 2019 again for this band, I believe is when they formed. Their EP came out first, and it was followed by their debut album, which is Wait for the Night, and it's a really good listen. Solid, melodic hard rock, 80s infused styles, you know. It takes you back. It thinks it's kind of it is definitely on that style of things, and so if you want a bit of nostalgia but you want a new band, then go for this one. They'll give you that for sure. And I'm hoping they're going to be working on a new album soon. I believe they're touring the UK at the end of the year, November and December. They've got a bunch of dates lined up, so they are touring at the moment, and I'm hoping after that there's going to be some new music from them. Do recommend them. And I've got two more to go. So I have to show this band, Crystal Viper, another one that I discovered not too long ago. Fantastic. Really love this band as well. They're from Poland. They are fronted by Marta Gabriel, female vocalist, and she is a solid female vocalist. She's got a fantastic voice. So this one, The Cult, is their latest release. And yeah, I thought this was an excellent album, and this was, what was it, 2021? Yeah, 2021 this was. Really good stuff indeed. So I have about 3 or 4 of their albums, and I like them all actually. This one is 2019. I think this was the previous one to The Cult. Yeah, but they're out of Poland, did I say that? So Polish metal band, and again they're just, what do they describe themselves as? A mixture of heavy metal, power metal, and a bit of speed metal here and there. I would say they're just kind of a bit of the new wave of traditional thing, you know, infused with power metal and speed metal here and there. And they were formed 2003, so these guys have been around for a while, and they do have quite a few albums, and I like them so much. It is my goal to try and get all of their albums at some point to complete their catalogue. So I'll have a few of these to pick up, but as I say, I do have about 4 or 5 of their albums. But yeah, excellent stuff, excellent band. Do check out Crystal Viper, people, for more just really good heavy metal. And the last one I'm going to show, out of Sweden, another awesome country for metal, is a band called Screamer. And so these guys were formed in Sweden in 2009, and they are basically just a new wave of traditional heavy metal band. They're just traditional modern heavy metal. Yeah, they're just a modern heavy metal band. It's as simple as that. This is the latest one here, Kingmaker. And this was the previous album to that, Highway of Heroes. They've really got a good chunk of melodic kind of rockin', some really catchy choruses and some other stuff. Just heavy rock, heavy metal. And I have, again, this is another one, I've got every single one of the releases, so they have about 5 or 6 albums out. I've got them all. And I think they're all very good. They're just another really enjoyable band, and their latest album was excellent as well. So again, out of Sweden, I highly recommend you check them out. And that is 10 newer bands, certainly from the 20th century. Are we in here? The 21st. That I have discovered in recent times that I think are excellent bands, and I don't see them leaving my collection anytime soon. I think I might I have maybe got an idea to do this again with 10 older bands from last century, from back in the day, that I didn't really discover until much later, that I now have in my collection. So I'll maybe do something on those lines later on. But I've been wanting to get this video out for a while, and thanks for your patience, anyone who was maybe waiting on it. Life's just been pretty busy, shall we say, lately, and but now I managed to get some time in to get this done. So I'm hoping, as I said in my last video, I think I'll maybe try and have a few more coming soon. But don't hold your breath, people. But thanks for watching. Thanks for being there, and being a subscriber and supporting, and just, you know, thanks for your general friendship and interest. That's really all I ask for. So I'll see you all hopefully in another video, and feel free to drop a comment below. Take care. Bye the now.